Because now it's like the people that have been in politics, you like, man, fuck them. Like, they're weird. Like, you know, they on weird shit. Like, oh, you was hanging with Epstein too? Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Yeah. You was on that Pizzagate shit? Wow, that's cool. It's like, at least if you know a nigga just been like making jokes his whole life and being funny, entertaining, seem like a great guy, you're like, man, just study. Lock in for a year or two, get your education right, get some good people around you, make some decisions.
You showed that you could do comedy. That means you could be the president of the United States.
Hey, you scaled the empire already. All these other boys.
See, but okay, so look, let's say Russian tanks are on American soil and they're like
never happened,
knocking door to door, saying, you know, get the fuck out. You know, NATO police is fucking us up. It would be nice to have a president that could just make jokes about it and still make you feel good.
Nah, he probably Kev would lose his fucking hair, bro. He'd probably be so stressed. Okay, but see, now we're on the topic of you talking about tanks coming on the U.S. Well, not coming on it, but you get the idea.
I can't.
People make the point of like, oh, why do we have money for military? Because we sent a bunch of money over to Ukraine and whatnot. Why do we have money for military funding and not for like impoverished people and shit like that? And it's like, totally get it. Impoverished people, very fucked up. But when we're talking about running a country, it's like I've said in the past, like we reap so many blessings and like almost this entitlement that we get from being in this country that then we feel like we could just speak out toward like, why is this being done? Fam,
we got
do you know what's happening in Ukraine? They're getting fucking invaded and people are desperate to flee.
Yeah.
So you wonder why we have so much money in our military.
Yeah.
Do you think that's gonna happen to the US? The US we're gonna be fleeing from this bitch? No, bro. That's not what happens because you have all this fucking funding for military. So you can sit there and be like, well, how come there's Skid Row? Yeah, get it. Poverty is fucked up. But I don't think you should be questioning how much money is being put into the military, into defending the country.
You know how much a fucking outfit in the military for one
set of outfit,
or not an outfit, their fucking gear that they have on for one soldier, it's $17,600.
Damn.
What the fuck?
Ain't that crazy?
Where you find that?
Jake Tran, motherfucker.
No,
you already know, son.
That's crazy.
That's wild. I don't even think. I was thinking more like all the jets we have, all the fucking tanks, shit you have never heard of. It's
drones
like,
and shit.
Trump said he made our nuclear shit a lot better too.
Oh shit,
he said a lot of shit. He was saying a lot of shit.
Bro, but that's
why I want to fact check it for that, because
when it comes to military and stuff that's actually talking about defense of a nation, if you ain't have no business in that shit, just shut up. Like, I don't want to hear you talk. So how come we have funds for that? You never ran no country, bruh. You never.
Lockheed, baby.
But here's the thing, though, right? And here's where I say, like, it might not be. Okay, there's a YouTube video about a guy who was a KGB guy. His name is Yuri.
That's not true.
There is this Russian dude. His name is Yuri Bezmenov, and he talks about how America will fall. Yeah. And he talks about, like, I guess the stages of I can't remember the name of it or the term of it, but he talks about how America's gonna fall from the inside, right? And he talks about how we're gonna send over like spies. We're gonna fuck up your education system, right? We're gonna have you worried about gender studies. He's talking about in the 80s. You're gonna be worried about gender studies. You're gonna be worried about all type of other extraneous shit, arts, like bullshit, right? You're not gonna worry about the outside, right? And you're gonna crumble from the inside because your people are gonna be so weak to where it'll be easy. Like, it's like taking candy from a baby. So he talks about, like, I have a notebook. I think I talked about it on the pod one time, and I read like the 4 stages.
Zoned out,
it was a Bill Gates thing.
It's new to us. It's new to us, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah, but no, it was cool. Look up the video, Yuri Bezmenov, and it was just crazy watching him talk about it because everything he said in that video is literally happening right now.
That's crazy. Because
he's talking about people are gonna be rioting in the streets, talking about civil rights, like all type of like things that really don't matter on a world scale.
Yeah,
that will make us weaker as a country, like,
because we're so divided. Like,
we're so divided now. Any like the fact of, like, we're talking about gender studies. Like, why are we sending money for gender studies or even having conversations about how many genders there are? Like, nigga, this is the real fucking world. Like, we could be invaded at any point. Like, come on now.
There's some study of civilizations. I wish I could remember. I think they talked about it on that racist Joe Rogan's podcast. It was a great episode.
He's not a fucking racist.
But they were talking about they were saying, I guess they have cycles in civilizations, and one of the cycles before civilization collapses is they become obsessed, so they can't agree on anything, and all the norms have gone out the window, and then they become to fight about things like gender, and they basically come to a point where they can't agree, and they've lost all sense of normalcy. and nothing can. Pretty much where we're at now.
Because you're blind from like the rest. What's going on in the world,
or just the actual reality and the atrocities of other countries.
The shit that we focus on,
and it's like we don't really see that. Like we don't really have famines. We don't really have droughts. We don't really have these real life situations that people are going through. And we
had the privilege.
we've gotten fat. We've sat on our laurels, and we're looking at everybody else like, oh, they won't do anything. They're not going to try to capitalize.
We have dumbasses talking about why are we putting so much in the military? We're not even at war. Do you want to keep it that way, pussy?
Yeah,
like, do you want to keep it that way? Honestly, like, do you know what the Ukrainians are going through? Do you think they wouldn't? Do you think they're sitting there like, man? But at least there wasn't too much. Our poverty percentage wasn't too bad. No, bro, they're like, man, I wish we had a more fucking adapted, advanced military with all this fucking funding. Who is sending the U.S. planes and shit like that? No, bro. They're getting by everyone. Nah, it's a wrap.
I mean, the U.S. has put their foot on every single country in the world, but it's like, I don't want nobody putting their foot on us. Like, I don't want to. I still like my McDonald's.
It wouldn't happen, bro. It would not happen. Who the fuck could? And I mean, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But who is invading the U.S., bro? That shit is not going down like that. Imagine us having to grab guns and shit, rifles and all that, and we got to really defend our home or decide are we fleeing or staying. No, we here.
That was a video game.
Imagine how Texas would go.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Texas would be. God, they might fight the whole war for us, bro. It'd be half military, half Texas.